Hi, Mushberry. Do the thing. Yay! GOG recommends, similar to the excavation of Hobbs Barrow, is Katie in Meow Meow Land. They seem very similar. What other things does GOG recommend? Similar to Return to Monkey Island is Necronomicon, The Dawning of Darkness. Got some weird recommendations. Apparently also similar, the Hugo trilogy to Necronomicon. Oh, no recommendations for Final Fantasy X? There's nothing like it. Okay, I guess. Problems Quest 3 gets Beyond Time and Space, or Sam & Max Beyond Time and Space. Don't know that one. Alright, give it a couple more minutes. Yeah, some of these recommendations aren't terrible, but some of them are kind of weird. Excuse me. Seventh Guest and Simon the Sorcerer. I don't know about that. That coffee's starting to revive me a bit. let's get started. Will we get to excavate Hobbs Barrow? Time will tell. Please don't do that weird thing that you did last time, game. Okay, look, it's looking good. Yes. Alright, when last we left off, we just talked to Mr. Bryden, who owns the land that the bear was on, and he doesn't want it excavated because his brother, I think, was the last one to try to try to like explore it, and whatever he saw like messed him up, and yeah, it wasn't good. And painful memories. He doesn't want the bear excavated, but we did convince him to let us look at it. Can we like try to make friends with the goat? I have a worm.
I probably should have brought my umbrella.
That sounds a bit quiet, I think. Right. Sorry, hold on a sec. Come on. Tab back in, please. Alright, how's that? AR.
AR. I haven't a clue what that could be referring to. Someone has carved the letters AR into the stone.
This tune seems so upbeat. Oh. Nothing bad could possibly happen today. Okay. Didn't miss anything.
Finally, here it is. Hobbs Barrow.
Yep.
Indeed, a barrow of a most unusual rectangular form. I've not seen something like this since West Kennet Long Barrow. Yes, this shall make a fine entry for my book. What secrets do you conceal, I wonder?
Better dig it up. Do I have a trowel. That's all you need, right? Wait.
That smell. Earthy and sweet.
Ooh. Touch more? Hold on.
3, 2, 1. You can open your eyes now, Thomasina. Come. Are you ready for your first excavation?
Ooh, doesn't like that. Ooh, another trowel. Hey, Lumina Dragon, welcome. How's it going? Can you get a shadow for Lumina, please? Boobs.
Hello. Daddy told me I should always carry a trowel on my excavations.
Hope today's been good. I'm exhausted. I've been up since 9, baking. And like,
Now I'm ready.
I know that doesn't sound like unreasonably early for most people, but that's like the time I usually go to sleep at. I'm tired. But the cakes, well, I mean, we haven't tried them yet, but they seem soft, which is hard to achieve with the, oh, there it is, there's dirt. Hard to achieve with the gluten-free stuff.
Daddy has buried something here.
I hope your day has been good.
No treasures here.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing here.
What'd you get up to today?
Daddy has buried something here.
Are you sure you said that about the other piles? Mostly work and checking out the holiday events in a few games. Ooh, what do they got?
Treasure!
Woo!
Daddy, I found the treasure! Look!
Well done, little bird. Your first successful excavation. That urn you're holding is very old and precious.
Oh, you scratched it all up with the trowel.
Take good care of it, all right?
I will, Daddy.
Smash.
I promise.
Yeah, exactly. Drops it. So I think it was. I keep getting the function of the left and right click confused. I think it was left click, pick up, right click, look, but no, I'm not sure because she hadn't touched it when all I did was right click. So
I do have a feeling there is something exceptional to be discovered here. I must gain Mr. Bryden's permission to excavate.
Nothing further that way. It's like a turtle and it's got eyes. No.
In good time.
Okay. Just checking if there's anything else I might want to do. I don't think so. AR. Pick it up. Oh. Damn it! I was trying to click through this scene, which apparently you can't click through. And it's like, yep. Oh, you wanted to look at the rock again. I can see why. It's a very nice pixel art. Ooh, it's getting dark. Scary thing that's happened in the dark.
Darkness falls quickly here. I should make my way back to the inn.
Should I bother Mr. Bryden one more time?
I shouldn't disturb him at this late hour.
It's past sunset. Ooh.
This is not mine to take.
Hello.
I don't wish to risk waking it up.
No, Black Phillip. Take mushroom.
This is where I dug up Jane's ragdoll.
I really like this track. Just the moors this way, I think. Ah, yeah, the bench and everything. This way was to Mr. Shoulder's house.
What a peculiar name, the Devil's Toe. I can't quite see the resemblance myself.
Well, have you seen his toes? It's very, very lifelike.
I should head back to the Plough and Furrow. It's getting late.
Alright. You know me. I gotta explore everywhere I'm not supposed to. Could miss a scene. Side quests and such. I'm sad. I will never have cake. Whatever my assistant's name is, I forget. You're double fired. We're supposed to send money so that I could buy cake.
St. Edmund's is locked up for the evening.
I think it was, yeah, I think you're right. Hey, Summer System. How's it going? Welcome. That was where that fossil was. Got a nice smelling plant here.
The delicate flowers smell rather sweet.
Ah, right, the beck.
The water is icy cold.
I would like to take the beck with me. Put it in my inventory. Your shoulder's sore. You have slept on it wrong. I hate that.
I'd rather not walk in the woods at this late hour.
Hey, I just noticed this birdie. Looks like an owl. It's so unfair that sleeping can hurt you. It's cruel. Right? Or longer even. Mess you up for the whole day, right? Well, that guy's probably at the pub. I forgot I can teleport a little bit. Oh, fog coming in.
A finely made horseshoe. The blacksmith must also be a farrier.
The bodies are kind of ridiculous. Indeed.
I didn't come to Bewley to sweep their streets.
Yeah, but now the broom is unattended. You can steal it.
Beating raw metal into a fine object is an admirable skill.
Rusty bucket. It's really foggy. That one light looks so inviting. I doubt I can knock, but no, actually, yeah, there she goes.
No one here.
Oh, I think there is. Just being standoffish.
I don't think anyone is home.
Okay, before I head in, I am gonna check the alley.
It's late. I should really get some sleep
Or
now.
not.
It's late.
Okay, fine. You know, you didn't have to make me walk all the way back. You could have just been like, it's late, I should go to bed, and then just end the day. Looks like everyone's in.
Good evening, Mr. Crozier.
Sorry.
Evening. Thanks again for the fossil, lass. 'Tis truly a beauty.
You're most welcome. How long have you been collecting fossils?
Ever since I were a boy. The moors look a barren place, but there are plenty of fossils to be found in the rock formations. All manner of creatures to uncover.
Such a playground for a young lad. What's your favourite piece in your collection?
The ammonite you gave me today.
Aw, well, thank
The
you.
most recent is always the best.
Indeed.
What about you, lass? Do you collect out?
I do. You see, I'm writing a book on the Barrows of England. It shall be called Vestiges of the Antiquities in Rural England. I document all my findings.
But what do you collect?
Pottery, tools and such.
Bones too, no doubt.
Oh, yes, especially human bones.
No, I leave those in place.
You've got a morbid heart, lass.
What are you talking about? I left the bones.
Fussing about in old graves like that.
We're not dissimilar in that we both take an interest in the remains of the long gone.
I suppose you have a point there. How's
Yeah.
your book coming along, then?
You know, that fossil of yours used to be alive.
Very well, thank you. Though I'm rather keen to begin my chapter on Hobbs Barrow. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Let's see who else we got. Well, there's Stanley, of course.
Good evening, Miss Bateman.
Good evening, Stanley.
We'll order a drink after I talk to
I found
everyone.
Hobbs Barrow.
Oh. Remember what I said, Miss Bateman? There are stories connected to that place.
Yes, stories you won't elaborate on, I might add. Don't worry about me, Stanley. I'm quite capable of warding off imagined fiends.
Them's fighting words.
I have no doubt, but please leave that place be.
I've come this far, there's no turning back now.
That's precisely what worries me.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Guess we can try to make friends.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What are you gonna do about him?
If he thinks he can take her away from here, he's got another thing coming. I am gonna knock his bloody block off.
Okay, maybe not.
In fact, I can think of a better punishment. Oi, what do you want, lady?
I was just trying to make friends.
Piss off.
Okay.
You heard the man.
Charming. Good evening, sir.
Ooh. Okay.
I'll leave you to it.
Just likes to show off his coordination skills, I guess.
It's Herbert, the local stray.
Hey, Valentes, welcome. How's it going?
I
Kitty.
don't wish to wake him up.
Oh, but it's the kitty. Kitty.
Cyril seems gruff and unwelcoming, but I sense he may be a kind man under this facade. He's engaged in a bout of pinfinger.
Oh, is
Such
that
a
what
brutal hobby.
that's what that's called, is it?
A fearsome-looking brute of a man. This local chap looks thoroughly intoxicated. It's Mr. Stanley Kemp, the proprietor of the Plough and Furrow. He has the serious and worn-out facial expression of a man who deals with drunkards on a nightly basis. Mr. Crozier is enjoying a large mug of ale.
Doing okay? That's good to hear. I'm doing alright. Just very tired. I've been up since 9.
Hello again, Cyril.
You're still here?
Did Mr. Long convince you of the virtues of Bewley Station?
What the hell do you think?
I think you're now the station's biggest fan.
Now bugger off and leave me to me drink.
Then I was correct.
He seems even more wound up than usual.
I have been baking, and I am tired. It's making gluten-free poppy seed cakes, loaves, and you have to put extra liquid in the dough when it's gluten-free, and it's maybe like the goopiest dough I've made so far. It was so sticky.
Good evening, Miss Bateman.
The loaf seems fairly soft though, so that's good.
Good evening, Stanley.
Yeah, I'll
A
order a
mug
drink.
of your finest ale, please.
There we are. That's 2 pence on your account.
Thank you.
You know I'm not gonna pay it, right?
Goodbye.
See you soon.
I must say, last night has rather put me off using these toilets.
She's never gonna go again. Random here. See, there's nothing really to do, which is making me confused, like I'm missing something.
A lovely place to warm oneself. The crackling fireplace is more welcoming than the facial expressions of the locals.
Even our best buddy Cyril? Oh, I just realized, forgotten his name, but the drunk guy that, we were talking to last night, he's not here. He's not here today. Do I try to bother these people some more?
Those men are rather brutish. I'd rather not engage with them anymore.
Guess not.
Good evening, sir. I'll leave you to it.
He's like, "Rrr." Can you imagine someone making that face at you? It's a bit much. Well, I don't see anything else to do, so I guess give that one.
Hello again, Cyril.
Cyril one last try.
You're still here?
Did Mr. Long
What the
converse?
hell now?
That's just a repeat.
He seems even more.
Come on.
I don't wish to wake him up.
Pet the kitty.
I have nothing else to ask for the time being.
Like if I leave, or if I try to leave, will she say no?
The sun has set and rain has swept in. I shan't go out again tonight.
Alright.
Time for bed. Tomorrow I shall convince Mr. Bryden to allow me to begin my excavation.
Let's just keep
Miss
harassing him.
Bateman,
Ah, here we
how
go.
are you?
Our
Tired.
buddy.
Can I buy
Go.
you a drink?
Oh, yes. Shouldn't you stop drinking so much for the man's health? No. I'm going to say sure.
One won't hurt.
Excellent. I feel bad about what happened last night. I'm sorry I can't remember it.
That's all right, Mr. Tillett. Alcohol can do all sorts of damage to one's memory.
I was thinking that maybe if we had another drink tonight, I might remember what happened.
Yes, excellent plan.
I'm not sure that's logical.
But worth trying?
I don't need any further convincing.
Take your seat, Miss Bateman. I shall return with the goods.
I know, I can just remember if I got high.
To Leonard's shoulder.
Wherever he may be.
He's probably dead. He's in his cottage, dead.
I've been meaning to ask you something.
Yes?
Why did Leonard's shoulder ask you to dig up Hobbs Barrow?
Despite his disappearing act the previous evening, not to mention his questionable sobriety, I decided Mr. Tillett was to be my ally.
Tillett, that was it.
I spoke again of Mr. Shoulder's letter, his proposed excavation, and my status as an antiquarian and barrow digger. He was fascinated and quite excited at the prospect of meeting the soon-to-be author of a real-life book.
Oh.
You must find all manner of riches on your digs.
Yeah, skeletons.
Barrow digging is not all success, Mr. Tillett. Often I'll come across the likeliest of sites steeped in promise. We set to work with shovel and pick and all the other barrow opening paraphernalia you can imagine. Every stone carefully taken down, every shovel full of earth put dutifully through the sieve. And we find nothing. Or you may find a miserable remnant of animal bone or a shard of pottery hardly to be recognized from the peat in which it decayed. Sometimes it's as if some Neolithic humorist prepared an elaborate practical joke for your special benefit.
It still sounds much more exciting than spending your days sitting in England's most remote railway station.
Are you all right, Mr. Tillett?
I've had another argument with Agnes.
Your wife?
Aye. She didn't want me coming to the plough tonight.
Yeah, Ian, she might have a point about that.
Truth is, I've been drinking my life away since my mother passed.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry for your loss.
You're kind, Miss Bateman. Thank you. It's been a year since the old girl left us. She had a horrible end. Wasting away, day by day. Consumption got her. She was naught but bones by the end. I can't get the image out of my mind. were everything to me.
I'm so sorry.
I apologise for going on, Miss Bateman. It's not appropriate.
Don't worry, Mr. Tillett. I appreciate your openness.
Used to love going for walks out in the moor, my mother and I. Ever since I were a little one. She'd get a tear in her eye as she looked out upon it. She loved this land. I asked Mr. Crozier to build a bench, which we've erected at her favourite lookout spot on the moors.
Oh, I was there.
Margaret's Lookout, we called it. Aye.
That's a beautiful tribute.
Aye. If you take a seat there, do keep her in your thoughts, won't you?
Of course, Mr. Tillett.
We'll have to have another seat there. I had a little
I can
sit down
relate in
earlier.
some manner. My father had an accident when I was very young. He's still alive, but he can neither move nor speak. He spends his entire life bedbound and incapable of communicating or looking after himself in any way.
How dreadful.
He was a barrow digger himself, an antiquarian of some renown. He taught me so much, even though I was so young. I think writing this book is my way of carrying on his work. It helps me reclaim those earlier memories of him. And I visit him often to tell him all about my excavations.
Can he hear you?
I've no idea. The doctors aren't sure. I'd do anything to make him better, Mr. Tillett. I'd do anything to bring him back to the man he was.
Anything.
I am in a state of suspended mourning for a man caught between life and death.
Dreadful. Just dreadful.
We all have our weaknesses. Mine just happens to be my father.
And what of your mother?
A cold woman. We haven't talked in quite some time.
Not even in flashbacks.
I think she blamed me for my father's accident somehow.
You were but a child.
Indeed. She thus saw it fit that a governess should raise me as she spent her life grieving for my father.
Well then. I propose a toast.
A toast to what?
A shared sense of loss.
I'll toast to that, Arthur. Now then, enough of this wallowing.
No.
Let us be merry. Another round.
I really shouldn't.
I don't know. Mr.
But
Shillett.
I did. And another after that.
Oh
And
no.
another. The frustrations of my visit to Bewley slipped away with each swill of Stanley's finest ale. We had great fun that night, Mr. Tillett and I. I treasure the memory.
Go on then. Let's hear those pipes.
Ooh, we're getting a song?
Mustn't.
Sing the song.
You're incorrigible.
Yeah, everyone's gone. Oh hey, that jerk left his knife. I'm gonna take it.
Please.
Focusing on the important things.
You'll make a sad man happy.
Oh, all right then. Clasps, celts, and arrowheads I'll try to claw within my clutch, and if a shield I should espy, I'll vow there ne'er was such.
With popish tricks and relics rare, the priests their flocks do gull. In casting out the earth take care. Huzzah! I've found a skull!
Okay. Is the kitty gonna visit us? Ooh. Now this is my kind of setting. Okay, so we got an auto. Oh, I can't save now. I can't manual save. Okay. Oh, hey there, buddy.
Hello, Thomasina.
What is this? Who are you?
I'm the one that saved your father.
What do you mean?
You were here 25 years ago.
My father?
You were deep down with the others.
Interesting. This person also just has a northern accent.
You were there when something went wrong. I dragged him out.
Impossible.
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
I don't understand.
You said anything.
Believe my words. You'll find proof in morning. Now go. One more thing.
Oh, one more thing.
This is not a dream.
The second day. Expisor? Expiscor?
Goodness, that was a terrible sleep.
Probably hungover. This is not a dream. Well, just because you're asleep doesn't mean it's a dream. Hello? Someone has left me a present.
What's this?
Ooh, it's got a stone.
There's...
Oh, damn it. Clicked through it. It waited way too long for that text to come up. Okay. Day 1. Arrived after a decent day's ride from Bakewell. This is a curious place. Locals seem distant. I'm to meet my local contact tomorrow, so it will be an early night for me. I shall try to keep a diary of my stay here and not give up by day 3 of the excavation as usual. Despite the thrill of possible new discoveries, I cannot stop thinking about my dear wife and wonder if I should have left her in her current state. I must have faith that she will conquer this bout of illness. Day 4. True to form, my journal has been abandoned. Let that not speak for the excitement I feel for this excavation. After much preparation, we dig tomorrow. Such an exceptional site with a unique history. As for the dangers, we shall meet them head first. We are prepared. I also sought out a local wise woman yesterday, and she provided me with a tincture from my beloved's nausea gravidarum. I am sure she will be pleased with it upon my return. Looks like expiscor is Latin. It means to fish out, as in fishing for information. Interesting. Thanks for that. Gravidarum? Lo, a place of miracles. A planted seed sprouted before our eyes and illuminated our path. Nature's laws hold no meaning here, but I clutch my tablet with the knowledge that it shall end this. Rho, theta, epsilon, chi? We found the code was simply in the singularity of the characters. All eyes must face towards the 7th archontic. Archontic? Makes sense. Pisces is literally fish and X is out of. Aha, yes. Rho, theta, epsilon, G. All eyes must face towards the 7th archontic. When the sun and the two moons meet, the guardian shall be defeated. And there's these two snakes kind of approaching a crescent moon. We also have two like, I guess this could represent a barrow maybe? It could also be like a, not quite, I was gonna say like an elemental diagram, but I don't think that's quite right. Then they go with Greek letters. Well, I mean, the Romans cribbed a lot from from the Greeks, so, you know, maybe they use some Greek stuff here. A dead language reveals the path. For thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to no, not quite. Okay. For thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I have said. Follow the words of my mouth. Reveal thyself to me. I heard a whisper, not once, again and again. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit.
It appears to be a journal, full of hogwash.
Oh, yes.
I don't recognize the handwriting. Maybe Stanley knows more about it.
It took 6 years of Latin and 1 year of ancient Greece, so you can't help but notice certain things. IAW. And there's a, oh. I'm still kind of want to look at that. This little star here. Chicken head. Okay. Oh, like the phrase Deus Ex Machina is wrong on many levels. Interesting.
That candle didn't last long.
Well, that's what happens when you leave it burning while you sleep. Honestly, that really bugs me. You don't leave it burning while you sleep.
Good morning. How's your head, Miss Bateman?
I'm fine. I didn't have too much to drink.
That were quite the tune you treated us to last night.
I thank you.
To be honest, Stanley, I felt better. I take it you slid this journal under my door?
I beg your pardon?
The journal, Stanley.
I certainly did no such thing. Nor could have anyone else. You're the only guest staying here.
Like how the knife is glistening, so you know.
What's the meaning of all this?
You notice.
Do you propose that it manifested itself out of thin air?
Well,
Yes. Well, I'm gonna say, like, I think he's probably telling the truth that it wasn't him, but I don't think he's telling the truth that it couldn't have been anyone else. So I'm just gonna say relent, I guess.
I'm sorry. I just don't understand how else it could have got there. Are you sure there was no one else here overnight?
without doubt.
How very, very peculiar.
Candles don't last very long, right? That's why we switched to oil lamps and then electric lamps. But, like, again, I'm pretty sure that people didn't leave the candle burning at night when they went to sleep. Because it's wasteful. You know, go through candles every night.
So, what does it say inside?
Yeah, sure.
Take a look.
Like maybe,
Well, I can't make head nor tail of it.
like maybe this is gonna be one of those situations where later on I'll find out that everyone in the town is against me, but I don't really like to work on that assumption.
Neither can I.
Yes, definitely, even aside from the fire hazard. Also, an excellent point. Like, you could knock that thing over in your sleep or something.
Maybe someone else in the village can help you with it.
What do you make of this stone?
That's a funny looking thing. It's got a cockerel on it.
Yes, but have you seen anything like it?
Never.
Do you ever have strange dreams, Stanley?
Me? I sleep as sound as a baby.
I had one such dream last night. It was so vivid.
And purple.
What were it about?
Well, I'm the one who brought it up, so
I was
yeah.
at Hobbs Barrow,
Oh?
but everything was different. Great peaks soared in the distance. And there was a creature.
A creature, you say?
Yes, a short, robed fellow. Eyes as black as pitch. It told me that my father had been there in Hobbs Barrow many years ago. But something went wrong, and the creature helped him escape. It said that I would find proof in the morning.
Oh! The journal!
Yeah, what if it's a magic journal?
You've had a premonition, lass.
Please, Stanley, I've no time for that nonsense. But I'll admit it's a strange coincidence.
Now, what did I tell you about Hobbs Barrow?
That I should leave it alone.
Not much else, really. It's not a lot to go on, Stanley.
Aye.
Hogwash.
Your dream reminds me of a story from my childhood. An old folk tale about Hobbs Barrow.
Oh, is he finally going to actually tell us something concrete?
What is this folk tale you mention?
Well, when I were a wee boy, there were talk of a goblin. They say he lived inside Hobbs Barrow. Hence the name, Hobbs Barrow. Hob, coming from hobgoblin, of course. Unfortunately, I don't remember anything else about it.
I was told not to believe in such fairy tales, Stanley.
By who?
Don't close your mind to such things, lass. I'm sure Mr. Shoulder will tell you more.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Perhaps, if I ever meet him. Goodbye.
See you soon.
Good morning, Mr. Kemp.
Good day, Miss Tompkins.
Ooh, new person.
I'm here for his lordship's paper.
Sorry, lass. Mr. Price hasn't dropped them off this morning. I heard he actually left the village yesterday.
Indeed, I can vouch for that.
We had to break into the post office.
Ma'am?
Good day.
Oh dear. His lordship won't be pleased.
My sincerest apologies, Miss Tompkins.
I'll come back in a few days. Ta-ra.
Goodbye.
Alright, that knife has been winking at me.
The knife is stuck deep in the table.
Oh, is it going to be a knife removal puzzle? Oh, the loft
Goodness
Excalibur!
me, I
Damn
can't
it.
budge it.
Be careful, Miss Bateman. You'll cut yourself. I spent all morning trying to get that bloody thing out. I shall be having words with that scoundrel next time he shows his face.
Curses.
We have our very own Excalibur. It's all yours if you can pull it out, King Arthur.
I must prove I am worthy. Hmm. I could like wrap something around it, like a strip of leather. Got a glove.
No, that won't work.
Got a chisel.
I do not wish to damage Mr. Kemp's table any further than it already has been.
Yeah. Oh, the sword was a different sword? Did they call it Excalibur in The Sword in the Stone, though? Because I know that the Lady of the Lake gave Excalibur. But I thought then it got put in the stone later or something. Did it have a name? It was called Kalendor in The Wheel of Time. Worm will help somehow. No, that's not what I meant to do. I was just trying to close the... That's fine.
I've hung my dress inside. Aside from that, the wardrobe is empty. Stanley is yet to set the fire for today.
Maybe you'll have to come back for the knife. Got anything new? Yeah.
Who is Miss Tompkins?
A housemaid in the employ of Panswick Manor.
Ah, that's what I thought.
She comes by to pick up his lordship's weekly paper.
I'm surprised newspapers are available in Bewley.
Aye, his lordship gets what he wants.
Lord Panswick likes to keep up with affairs from outside of Bewley.
Aye, he has many interests around the country.
What sort of interests?
His lordship's affairs are his own business.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Knife is sparkling at me, taunting me. Ooh, it's
Right.
another-
I need to convince Mr. Bryden to let me excavate Hobbs' Barrow. And find out where this journal came from.
I'm gonna show it to everybody.
Curses! I forgot I had this worm in my pocket.
Wait, don't take it
Poor
out.
thing is dead now.
Oh,
Rest in peace, Kenneth.
was I supposed to have done
Just
something?
noticed this matchbox is completely damp from the rain. The match is no use to me anymore.
Okay, I feel like I missed out on something. Because... I mean... Well, damn it. What did I miss? I thought I was pretty thorough. Separate saves? Maybe, I don't want to, like, go back now, but maybe there's some stuff I could have done. I'm thinking especially about the match. Excalibur is the sword in the stone from the story, but you believe it's based on Galgano Guidati, an actual sword embedded in stone. Wait, there's an actual one? Day 2. Anyway, I don't want to like go back and I don't want to just like follow a walkthrough, but maybe after it's done I might take a look at what I've missed. So apparently there's some discussion about the sword. Some sources suggest there was only one sword named Excalibur. Some say the swords were different. The sword in the stone may have been called Clarent. Let's talk to the new person. Looks like she's setting up a shop.
She is busy setting up her stall.
Yeah, there do tend to be a lot of competing stories from, like, stories that old.
Good day.
I'm still setting up my stall. Come back later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a kitty.
It's Herbert, the local
Excuse me.
stray. I don't wish to wake him up.
Perhaps I was supposed to go fishing with the worm somewhere and catch a fish and give the fish to Herbert and make friends. There's me crate.
Perhaps I have something in here that could help me get the knife unstuck.
Yes.
No, there's nothing useful here.
Oh, never mind. Thought I had a brilliant idea.
I suspect the barrels are empty. Otherwise, the locals would be rolling them into their cellars. I'd rather not go into those horrible toilets again.
Still holding it.
This young fellow looks miserable.
Is he still? He's not at all happier today?
Hello, Wally.
Go away! You gave the door back to my sister.
It wasn't very nice of you to bury her favourite toy, Wally.
I gave it to the fair folk. And you stole it back from them.
You don't really believe in fairies, do you?
I do believe in fairies.
You're old enough to know better.
I do.
They're real. And thanks to you, I'm cursed.
No, I'm cursed.
There's no such thing as curses either, Wally.
Go away.
Can't believe I lost my match and my worm.
Hello, Wally.
Go away. I don't want to talk to you.
Do you know anything about this journal?
I'm not sure they would be interested.
What about this stone?
I'm not sure they would be interested. The road disappears over the horizon. I see nothing but moorland.
Wait, do you know this journal?
I don't wish to give that away.
No, I don't want to give it away. I want to ask about it.
Father Roach is standing over there by the blacksmiths.
Oh, well, I can't see that from here. Oh, didn't mean to click through that, but basically, no one home.
Father Roach still looks rather pallid.
Yeah, bloodletting.
Good morning, Father Roach.
Ah, Miss Bateman. What a pleasure to see you again. Have you tracked down Mr. Shoulder yet?
Don't get me started.
I'll take that as a no.
Indeed. Do you recognize this journal?
What a tatty old thing. You ought to take better care of your possessions, Miss Bateman.
It's not mine.
Then whose is it?
That's precisely what I'm trying to find out.
I'm afraid I can't help you. I haven't seen it before.
What do you make of this stone?
I don't recognize the symbol from any Christian iconography. Did you make it yourself?
Yes, thank you.
No, never mind. What brings you to the square today?
I'm meeting a couple of young congregation members to go over some scripture. You're welcome to join us.
Thank you, Father Roach, but I have quite a busy day ahead of me.
That sounds real tempting.
We will be at St. Edmund's, should you wish to join us later.
Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
The blacksmith isn't out.
It's Mr. Crozier's forge.
Oh, right, hold on. I forgot there was one more exit over this way. Heavy drinking guy. Not in?
Mr. Long mustn't be in. I've already taken my crate.
Yeah, we probably don't need this anymore.
It's locked.
Strange that fog rolls in, suddenly everyone's gone. You've taken one, yes. What about second crate? Anything new? At the church? What's shaking? Pardon. Was I supposed to leave the match in my room until I needed it? Am I being punished? I'm gonna sit on the bench in memory of Mr. Tillett's mum, Margaret, while I have myself a little tea. Alright, that's enough of that.
Margaret's Lookout. Dedicated to Arthur's mother.
Let's see. I want to go this way first. Let's check out a couple other places first. This goes, should I take another worm? You know what? I'm taking another one.
I shall name you Kenneth II.
Oh boy. It's not like they're gonna run out of worms. I'm not ready to go to the Mr. Bryden's yet. Let's check out the rest of town. There's not much here, so it shouldn't take long. Oh, we should be able to explore the woods today.
Thomasina!
Hey, buddy.
Good morning, Arthur.
You look a bit addled. Are you feeling all right?
I am not used to drinking as much as we did.
Aye, my head is pounding.
To tell you the truth, Arthur, I've had a somewhat puzzling morning.
Oh?
Someone slipped this journal under the door of my room.
Whose journal is it?
I have no idea. The text refers to some sort of excavation.
Stanley must be playing tricks on you.
He swore his innocence. I thought perhaps you might have done it?
No, it wasn't me. That's for certain. Somehow I have a clear memory of last night.
I wonder who left me this journal then.
Mind if I take a closer look?
Please go ahead.
Wonder. I'm mostly trusting everyone here.
The writings of a madman.
Do it again. Distrust run. Trust no one.
I don't disagree. Did the sketches mean anything to you?
No, not at all. But they turn me stomach. You might want to show this to Mother Mildred.
Who is Mother Mildred?
Huh.
Some think her a witch.
Ooh.
A witch?
She turned me into a newt.
Aye. She might be able to help you with the symbols.
Where can I find her?
She lives alone in a little cottage within Herne Wood here.
We can, I was actually, as I was walking onto the screen, I was about to say is that we should be able to explore the wood today because the Lord Pants something, is, not chopping down trees today. Ah, yes, thank you. It did clear up. It took a while.
You shouldn't have too much trouble finding her.
Thanks, Arthur.
You're welcome.
What do you make of this stone?
It's a good shape for skimming across water. What is it?
I'm not sure. It was strapped to the cover of the journal.
How mysterious.
I had a splendid time last night.
Aye, I even remember most of it this time. Thanks for listening to me going on.
New bestie.
I really appreciate it.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you too, Arthur. Shouldn't you be manning the station?
The line is down. Track damage between Bewley and Bakewell. No trains for a day or more.
Does that mean I'm stranded here?
For the time being, Thomasina.
Capital. Why do people think Mother Mildred is a witch? Just because a woman lives alone in the woods doesn't mean she flies about on a broomstick.
There's more to it than that.
I'm telling you, she's turned people into newts.
They say she lays with demons.
Who are they?
Oh, you know, local folk.
Well, did they see it?
Hogwash.
Some also go to her for potions and spells.
Spells? Come now, Arthur.
Truth be told, she's a nice old lady. I sometimes see her foraging in the brambles around here.
They like to watch.
Will she burn at the stake sometime soon?
You might think us backward in Bewley, Thomasina, but we're not that backward.
Please. Do beheadings. Guillotines. Very modern.
Sorry, Arthur. I only meant to tease. Goodbye.
Ta-ra!
Oh, hello. You're the guy who I'm pretty sure is the Lord.
Hello, dear.
Good day.
I guess I can't look at his painting.
He's a little more handsome than your average Bewley resident.
It's because he's a lord. It's totally gonna be Lord Pantswick.
I believe we've met.
Miss Thomasina Bateman, the famous antiquarian.
Oh, my reputation precedes me.
My reputation precedes me.
I can assure you it does.
And you are?
James.
Are you a painter?
You see this beck before you? Look at the water. See how it tumbles and falls. I seek one spot on which my eyes can rest. Be it a stone or a small corner of the current. I meet it with my gaze. And out of the tumbling and falling, a new land rises. I see a new world.
You certainly have the eloquence of an artist.
I'm picturing... So, we briefly saw a painting, and I don't know if that was Thomasina's flashback, or if that's what this guy's actually painting. But it looked like just plain symbols in purple. And I'm picturing him with, like, some very basic shapes painted on that canvas.
What are you painting?
A new world.
Quite the ambition.
Indeed, my ambition knows no bounds.
Can I see it?
Not yet. It's not finished. Such a world is not complete without you in it.
You flatter me, James.
Nonsense. Say you'll let me paint you.
I'm leaning towards the last one, the last option. Does anyone have any input here? Trust your gut. Okay.
I haven't even seen your work. What if you can't paint?
Yeah, how embarrassing would that be? Hands it back and it's a stick figure.
Don't fret, my dear. You shall be the shining star of my new world.
Oh man, do I ever not trust him now.
When the time comes, I shall call on thee.
Oh, no. That's okay. Thank you for your consideration. Choose someone else.
Do you recognize this journal?
A place to keep one's thoughts and reflect.
Yeah, no, I know what a journal is.
Is it yours?
No, my dear.
What do you make of this stone?
It looks antique. You might want to keep a hold of it.
Do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
I'd like to know more about you, Thomasina. What time do you like to rise in the morning?
None of your business.
How do you like your tea? What makes you happy?
List your 5 greatest fears. Yeah, he does. I don't. I just. This is the the one person I don't trust is this guy.
Late, with 3 spoons of sugar and spending time with my husband.
Nice. Sort of gives the impression he wants to paint your soul into the canvas. Are you sure he's human? I get the impression that he is someone who wants to, like, I don't know, open a portal to like, an alternate dimension full of eldritch horrors and something profit.
You disappoint me.
Good.
I sense no truth in your words. Are you a woman of dubious principles, Thomasina?
I mean, if lying to some rich creep is bad principles, then yes.
You ask too many questions. Do you know Leonard Shoulder?
A man of Bewley?
Yes.
I care not for the men of Bewley.
And they care not for you.
Only for the visitors.
What do you know of Lord Panswick?
A fine gentleman. Now that is someone who commands respect.
Gee, I wonder who he could be.
Do you know him personally?
No, I don't think anyone can really claim that. But what a tiring subject. Shall we discuss something a little more exciting?
Goodbye.
See you soon, my dear.
Shall we discuss something more exciting? Bye. That is more exciting.
I do enjoy the charm of a babbling beck.
Well, this guy's just creeping me out pretty hard.
Hello, Arthur.
Just that guy? Yeah.
I met a man named James up at the back. Do you know him?
James? I don't think so.
His manner of speaking, it doesn't sound like he is from around here.
Oh, aye. Maybe he is just passing through.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra!
This way first. I guess there won't be anything at the station. Attention! Bewley Station is closed for the time being due to track damage between Bewley and Bakewell. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. Midland Railway. Put the rock on the tracks.
Such a thing could cause a derailment.
Ha 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 ha. I appreciate that they had a line for that. Let's keep it. Wow. Oh, okay. Let's keep exploring the woods. Oh, flashback time.
Thomasina, dear, come say goodbye to your father. Come on now, don't make him wait.
I don't want to.
Oh, she's pouting.
Aren't you going to miss me?
I hate you, Daddy.
Those are strong words for such a little lady.
I want to come with you.
We've been through this, little bird. You can't come with me this time. But we'll go to Seaborough next month. I promise. Oh, what a dig that shall be.
One that will definitely happen for real.
I hate you.
Well, I love you. See you soon, little bird.
Harumph. In the hole? Maybe we can make friends with that badger.
A badger's set. I shan't be visiting the badgers again. I was lucky to escape intact.
It was very funny. Alright, so this time, no barriers. Oh, we got something here.
Resin has been oozing from the stump. It looks set now. The resin has set somewhat. It's firmly gripped to the stump.
Can I chisel it out?
I've collected some waxy resin.
Sweet. Chilly.
They look somewhat like juniper berries. It's the old woman I saw at Bewley Station.
Oh, yeah.
The cottage is nestled cosily in the woods. Please, forgive my intrusion. Are you Mother Mildred?
Some call me that. I prefer Mildred Walker, given as that's my name.
Apologies. Thomasina Bateman. I think we met at Bewley Station.
I take it Panswick's men have cleared off. Good riddance. Those ruffians would cut their own noses off if he asked them to. I recognised you the moment I laid eyes on you at the station.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a striking family resemblance. You have your father's eyes, Miss Bateman.
You knew my father?
Such piercing blue eyes he had. What a handsome young man. William.
He was here, in Bewley.
Oh, yes.
Yes, didn't you listen to the Goblin Men?
A long time ago, mind. 25 years by my reckoning. But I'll never forget those eyes.
Why was my father in Bewley?
You were helping Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow.
You must be jesting.
A little chilly.
Do I look like I'm jesting?
Yes?
How did you come to meet my father?
One might say I have a reputation in these parts. Folks from all around come to me for help with their ailments. Hernwood is abundant with flora that, if mixed correctly, will cure almost any ill. Your father must have caught wind of this, as one day he came to me, asking for a cure.
A cure for what?
Your mother were with child, and she was suffering the most terrible nausea.
Adam.
I made something to help her.
The journal. This was entered in the journal. It belongs to my father.
I kind of thought, yeah.
What journal?
Take a look at this. A passage recalls meeting a local wise woman to seek a tincture for his beloved's nausea gravidarum.
Aye, that's me. I made the tincture for him.
This is incredible.
You don't recognise your own father's handwriting?
It's been so many years since I've seen it. What do you make of this stone?
I-A-W. I haven't a clue. Perhaps it's an old folk trinket, or a talisman of some kind. The moors are steeped in folklore.
What can you tell me about the excavation?
Well, not much. I only met your father twice. The last time he asked me if I knew anything about binding magic.
Binding magic?
He said he needed it for the excavation.
Hogwash. My father is a man of logic and reason. Why would he be asking about such nonsense?
Perhaps you don't know him as well as you think you do. Anyway, I know nothing of magic and told him so. He seemed disappointed. I never saw him again, but I understand the excavation went ahead. Samuel Bryden hanged himself not long after. Reason enough for you to stay well clear of that place.
You never saw my father again after the excavation?
No, I always assumed he just went home.
Not just.
Who excavated Hobbs Barrow alongside Samuel Bryden and my father?
From memory, it were just the two of them.
What do you think my father meant by binding magic?
I've no idea. He didn't explain more, and I didn't wish to pry.
This just doesn't sound like my father at all.
You'll have to ask him yourself.
I'm afraid my father has been incapacitated since I was a child. He cannot speak nor move.
Terrible. Oh, I'm sorry.
You said that the flora here could cure almost any ill.
Almost, my dear. But your father's affliction sounds beyond my abilities.
How convenient.
The landlord of the Plough and Furrow told me about a folk tale associated with Hobbs Barrow. Something about a goblin. Are you familiar with it?
No doubt there is such a tale. Name any beastie you can think of, and someone round here will have a story about it.
My thoughts precisely. Charles Bryden mentioned there was a third man involved in the excavation.
Is that so? Well, you'd best ask him about it. He knows more than I do.
Can you tell me anything about Leonard Shoulder?
I know of him, as is the nature of such a small town. I also know he invited you here.
Little escapes you, Miss Walker.
So they say. My path rarely crosses with his. Let's put it that way. But he's a nice enough fellow.
'Cause he's a ghost.
I see. Do you know Lord Panswick?
I know his labourers make a mess of these woods, the brutes. The man himself hasn't graced me with his presence.
You've never met him?
Not since he were a wee lad. A maid brought him to me with a sore stomach. It were all the rich food they were feeding him, nowt more.
Thank you for your help, Ms. Walker.
Can I have some of those berries?
What are those berries you're picking?
An ancient breed, no good for eating. However, they do have some medicinal qualities.
I see. What are those berries you're...
An ancient breed, however...
I see.
Huh.
I shouldn't enter uninvited.
Guess that's it for now. Wait, can we talk to her about the berries?
I can't think of anything else to talk
No.
about right now.
Miss Bateman,
Oh,
Yes?
remember what I told you when we first met? You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
Why?
Something terrible happened to Samuel Bryden in that barrow. Whatever they found down there, I'd wager it got to your father too. Tell me you won't disturb Hobbs Barrow.
I already did a little bit.
I can't make that promise, Mildred.
Can't say I didn't warn you. There is something unnatural about that place.
We must seek to understand the world by rational means, Ms. Walker. One cannot abandon reason.
Ooh, flashback? Another one?
Thomasina! Thomasina, come here this instant.
I'm playing with Josephine.
She can wait. This is very important.
I'll be back soon, Josephine. I'll be back soon, Josephine.
Giggle about the boobies.
Hello. What is it, Mummy?
It's your father.
Oh, sorry.
Daddy's home?
No, my dear. I must go to Bakewell with haste. Miss Bowes will look after you whilst I'm gone. Is that clear?
Where's Daddy?
He's had an accident.
What happened?
He's come off his horse.
Silly Daddy.
His high horse?
Will he be all right?
Of course he will be fine. Your father is as strong as an ox. But I need to go collect him, all right?
Can't I come too?
Ox. Or horse beats ox, apparently.
No, dear. Miss Bowes will look after you.
But I want to come.
Go pick up your dolls, then come inside, all right?
Yes, Mummy. Mummy looks worried.
Can I go this way? No.
Go pick up your dolls, then come inside, all right?
Oxen well known for their riding skills.
Yes, Mummy.
I don't think either animal would be happy with that arrangement.
Josephine, it's time to go inside now. Where did Mummy go?
Yee. Furry friend. Oh, wait. Something's happening. Whoa!
I helped him then. And I can help him again.
Neat. You know how the screen's all glitched out? You can actually see my cursor on the very left of the screen at the top of the barrow. Interesting. Deja vu. That animal just ran by twice. That means it's a glitch in the Matrix.
He is staring intently into the woods. Arthur, you won't believe it. The journal belongs to my father. He was here in Bewley. Arthur?
Uh-oh. Nightmare scene?
Hello?
Oh. Sorry, I'm trying to remember something.
What is it?
I'm not sure. Something in the woods. It will come back to me. You say your father were in Bewley?
Yes, Mildred said that he helped Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow 25 years ago.
Well, I'll be. Let's talk about it tonight at the plough.
He does seem a little preoccupied, but he is my bestie.
Arthur, I must tell you about the dream I had. I was at Hobbs Barrow and there was a creature. It told me it saved my father from something inside and that I would find proof of this in the morning. Sure enough, when I awoke, the journal was in my room. Mildred confirmed the journal belonged to my father. The creature told me it could help my father again. I mean, it was merely a dream. I don't know what to think anymore. Arthur?
Is there
Arthur, are you
something
listening?
messed up with his face?
Fine then, we'll talk later. I hope you piece together your memories. He is staring intently into the woods. I'll leave him be for now.
Don't trust it.
Good day, James.
My dear.
How is your painting coming along?
Quite well. But it needs more work. I'm aching to show you, but I must restrain myself.
Goodbye.
See you soon, my dear.
All this build-up, it's not gonna... There's no way I can live up to the hype. It's gonna be terrible. Alright, I've been everywhere around town. Oh, hello.
Hello? Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Did you see a young girl with blonde hair pass by here?
No, lass. There you are. Are you Thomasina Bateman?
Wait, are you Mr. Shoulder?
That's my name.
How marvelous. It's me, Leonard Shoulder.
Where have you been? You should be dead. I was worried sick.
Heavens! I'd given up on finding you.
Please take a seat, Miss Bateman. We have much to discuss.
You've proven to be quite the enigma, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm mortified. I offer you 1,000 apologies.
I slept in.
You see, I've been bound to me bed these past few days with a terrible fever.
How dreadful.
What about the glove?
I take it you're feeling better now?
Aye. I were on me way to find you when I stopped here to catch me breath. I've not much go in me these days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I were worried you'd have given up on me and left town.
Nah, stranded.
I had no idea what had become of you, Mr. Shoulder. I spent a good amount of time pounding on your front door.
Yeah, I heard you. It was really annoying.
I'm embarrassed. I really am. I've been doing my best to sleep through the fever. I am so very sorry. Please accept my apology, Miss Bateman.
Fine, Mr. Shoulder. I've come all this way. Let us speak of the business at hand.
Marvelous.
I've just learned that my father was part of a previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow some 25 years ago. Why didn't you mention this in your letter?
What? Where did you hear that?
I have my means.
I swear, Miss Bateman, I had no idea.
I take it you will also deny delivering me my father's journal?
I'm confused. What journal?
My father's journal was slipped under my door at the Plough and Furrow. It wasn't you who did this?
I've been bound to me bed, lass. What an extraordinary coincidence. You are following in your father's footsteps.
It would seem so, Mr. Shoulder. Why did you invite me to excavate Hobbs Barrow?
Pardon.
I've always been curious about the colourful folklore surrounding the place. My father told me all sorts of stories about it when I was a wee fellow. Stories that some folk around here take a little too seriously, especially after those lads entered the Barrow a while back.
How did you know about me?
I saw your interview in the Bakewell Times. A young lady travelling about the land, digging up barrows. Perfect for the job.
But why do you wish to excavate the Barrow?
I want to see what those lads found in there. My curiosity has grown over the years. Now it is time for the mystery to be solved.
I must say I am rather eager to find out what's in there myself. I've managed to find Hobbs Barrow, but Mr. Bryden is yet to give me permission to excavate.
Is that so? Keep trying. He'll relent eventually.
Every day. I'm showing up every day.
Perhaps you could have a word with him.
Oh no. A lovely young lass such as yourself has a better chance of changing his mind than a shaky old goat like me.
How exactly do you think I'm going to be changing his mind?
You told me in your letter there would be no issue gaining access to the Barrow.
I didn't foresee any when I wrote to you. I'm sorry this has been more complicated than anticipated. Don't give up yet, Miss Bateman. Keep trying with Mr. Bryden.
Did you know my father?
I don't believe so. What's his name?
William Bateman. He was in Bewley for at least a few days, from my understanding.
I'm sorry, lass. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Are you sure you had no idea of my father's involvement in the previous excavation?
I'm quite sure. A most fascinating coincidence, but nothing more than that.
I'm starting to wonder if it's more than mere coincidence, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman, I did not take you for a credulous individual.
None of the sort.
Sorry. Might have to be a shorter stream tonight. I'm getting real tired.
What can you tell me about the previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow?
Oh, it were 25 years ago, or thereabout. Back then, Bewley were undergoing a period of great strife. Samuel Bryden hadn't harvested a single crop for 2 seasons. Even Hernwood was sick. Berries went to rot almost as quickly as they grew. Folks started to believe the ground were blighted. Disease spread through the livestock too. People were going hungry, a panic set in.
That sounds terrible.
Aye, but I managed to keep myself fed. These things happen in nature, but the blame for it all fell on Hobbs Barrow. It was long said that a goblin made his home there. The rumour took root that the goblin were not best pleased with the villagers.
Oh, that goblin seemed polite enough.
In revenge for some unperceived slight, the goblin placed a curse on the soil itself. The villagers believed that ridding the Barrow of its lodger would put an end to it all.
Hogwash. My father would have paid no heed to such tales.
Whether it were his intent to join the excavation when coming here, I do not know. But whatever it were that Samuel Bryden and those lads did inside that barrow, people say it did the trick. The crops started to grow back, and health returned to the livestock. Bewley were no longer in the grip of dark forces. You must understand, folk here are a superstitious lot. They don't want you disturbing whatever it were those lads did. As far as the villagers are concerned, the problem were fixed. The thought of another excavation must be conjuring panic that you'll undo whatever it were they did.
This does explain a lot.
And it's also why I'd venture nobody around here wants you to touch the place.
Except for you.
I want to know what's there.
Surely you don't believe these tales of goblins and curses to be true?
Not at all.
Everyone knows it's trolls.
However, I suspect those lads did find something in the barrow. But did it have any connection to failing crops and dying livestock? No. I can assure you there's nothing to fear. Coincidence reigns supreme.
We'll at least finish
So
the
what do you
scene.
think they found?
That is for us to discover, Miss Bateman.
Who was the third man who joined my father and Mr. Bryden on the excavation?
I'm afraid I don't know. Although I'd heard about the excavation and I were intrigued by it, I mostly stayed at home during that time. The atmosphere in the village was rather too tense for my liking. And besides, the excavation were undertaken with an air of mystery about it.
Yeah, definitely just a coincidence that as soon as he sent for someone to come dig it up, he came down with a fever. Yep, no, it's fine.
Tell me more of this folklore you mention.
It is said that Hobbs Barrow is home to a goblin. Everyone in Bewley has some version or another of this story. But the version my father told me as a child described the Barrow as a thin place. The goblin were deemed to be the guardian of this so-called thin place.
Tell me more about this goblin.
Some said he were a mischievous little mite, snatching newborn lambs and smashing windows with pebbles. Others said he were friendly, there to lend a helping hand in times of strife. The latter of which makes it all the more surprising as to why the previous excavation took place. My father's stories put the goblin in the mischievous category. Saxnot, he called the creature. I recall one such anecdote, that Saxnot entered Bewley and ordered a pair of boots to be made by the cobbler.
Hey, we've seen the cobbler's place, but they're always, like, away.
However, when collecting them, he insisted on paying for them with a bag of sow's teeth.
Well.
The cobbler was so scared of angering the goblin that he accepted.
A colourful tale indeed, Mr. Shoulder. Has any explanation been offered for why this Saxnot cursed the soil?
Your guess is as good as mine, lass.
Some eye drops.
What is a thin place?
A place where one can walk between worlds. Where the flesh meets the spirit world.
We got a longer line here?
Just superstition, of course, as you will know.
I had a peculiar dream last night. I met a creature at Hobbs Barrow. I suppose you might say it was a goblin. It told me it had saved my father from trouble inside Hobbs Barrow. I'll admit the coincidence of this is somewhat astounding.
A remarkable coincidence, but nothing more than that.
So this guy's a skeptic.
But there is still one thing that puzzles me. The goblin told me proof of its claims would await me in the morning. Surely enough, I awoke to find that my father's journal had appeared in my room.
Very queer indeed.
Mr. Shoulder, you invited me here, to a town I'd never heard of, only for me to discover that my own father was here 25 years before. And not only that, but that he was also embroiled in some sort of superstitious hysteria which goes against everything he ever taught me. Something is wrong here. This must be more than mere coincidence.
It's strange, I'll give you that. But please remember who you are, Miss Bateman.
This is my father's journal.
Incredible. Can I look inside?
You may.
Look at these drawings. Wonder what it all means.
You and I both. It all feels very out of character for my father.
I'm sure you'll find the answers beneath the soil, Miss Bateman.
What do you make of this strange stone?
The carving of a cockerel?
Yes, it was strapped to my father's journal. Do you think it could have something to do with the previous excavation?
Possibly, though I'm not aware of the motif having any meaning around these parts.
You have chickens.
Is this your glove?
I've been looking all over for that. Where did you find it?
In the alley behind the plough and furrow on the night of my arrival. Were you there?
As I say, I've been bedbound for several days, Miss Bateman.
So you're saying someone stole your glove and planted it in the alley?
How odd.
It was a bird. That one.
Can I please have it back?
No.
Here.
Thank you. We're peas of the same pod, Miss Bateman. I knew you wouldn't be frightened by a few old stories. It will be interesting to see what those lads found in there.
Maybe we shouldn't trust Mr. Shoulder.
Certainly.
Thank you so very much for responding to my letter and for coming here. We have some great discoveries to make, you and I.
I sincerely hope so.
And a chance to follow in your father's footsteps. Right, time for me to shift these old bones. I'm to take me a spot of the plough and furrow. I'll be there all night should you need me assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sorry again for giving you the runaround. I promise I am not beyond redemption. I won't let you down again.
See that you don't.
See you soon.
I was starting to wonder if Mr. Shoulder even existed.
Let's see. I think I'll at least finish out my tea before wrapping up. Look around a bit.
The day was starting to test me. The word coincidence felt insufficient to explain what was happening. It was after that first conversation with Leonard's shoulder that I started entertaining thoughts of a truly irrational nature.
Ooh.
What if my dream wasn't just a dream? What if it was all more than simple coincidence? What if that thing really could help my father? Good day, little one. Hello? What's this? A fiddle bow? There's no string. My name is Thomasina. What's yours? Don't be shy. I don't mean you any harm. What are you doing out here all alone on the moors?
I live here.
Do you live here? Would you like me to fix your bow so you can play your fiddle again? Yes? Hey!
I don't think I have any horsehair.
Most peculiar. Perhaps I can mend the bow for her. If memories of my childhood violin lessons serve me right, bowstring is made from animal hair, coated in a waxy resin.
I've got the resin.
The strings don't vibrate without it.
Fire floated from his fingertips as he rosined up his bow.
What a peculiar name, the Devil's Toe.
Alright. I've got human hair. Is human hair good? It said animal hair, but there's not a lot of animals that have hair that long. Mostly horses.
I can't quite see the resemblance myself.
We could tie some worms together. Brilliant. Chicky!
You're a sweet little thing, aren't you?
Chicken friend.
You're a sweet little thing, aren't you?
Very important. Excuse me. I don't know. We haven't seen a horse around.
He looks much too unruly to be picked up.
Hello, Mr. Rooster. What do you make of this stone?
I do not wish to harass the rooster.
No, I don't want to hurt the rooster. I want to show the rooster the rock and be like, does this mean anything to you?
I've no desire to lug a block of wood about the countryside. Mr. Shoulder told me he'd be at the Plough and Furrow.
Yeah, which means that you can break in.
No sign of any movement.
No imagination.
The bow is lacking string.
Yeah, there's the badger's den, but I mean, like, again, badger's fur is like that long. We need something this slaw. Obviously, the answer is to rob graves.
I may be a barrow digger, but I am no grave robber.
Oh yeah, this is the way to the Bryden's. Let's not go there just yet. Actually, I don't really have any ideas for anywhere else right now. Stall might be up. Oh, maybe okay. They're out and about. Maybe we can get some horsehair from... Oh no, she's still setting up. But I think the blacksmith was still closed last time we were here, so maybe he can help us out because he's a farrier. Oh, how lovely.
Fresh and steamy. Delightful.
Kind of seems like there might be a horse around here.
I believe a horse to be the culprit.
We're gonna need that knife. Oh dear. What do I use to free that knife?
I certainly don't wish to touch it.
That'd be funny, come on. Hello, horsey.
A fine specimen. She's well looked after.
I need to steal your hair.
I don't wish to wake him up. That's not mine to take.
I actually meant to look at it this time.
The horse has been provided with some drinking water.
Pet the horsey?
Horsehair would make fine bowstring.
Indeed. I didn't say stand behind the horse.
You almost took my head off.
Yeah, you don't approach the horse's ass. Oh my god.
I don't wish to lose an eye. I'll have to gain her trust.
Do I have food? Not really. Do you like worms?
Can't see how that will help me.
Can I like slowly pet
I don't wish
the horse?
to lose an eye.
No.
I'll have...
Like, yes. Sneak up on the horse from behind and slap it. That'll go over well. This is just gonna be another pointless scene, but let's check.
The road disappears over...
Yeah. Wonder if there's ever gonna be anything there.
Good day.
Hey up.
Look at this, Mr. Crozier. It's my father's journal.
Oh, aye? Why are you showing me?
Did you slip it under my door last night?
Ha! Have you gone daft? Why would I have your father's journal?
Never mind. Did the sketches inside mean anything to you?
Looks like a load of rubbish to me.
I found out my father visited Bewley 25 years ago. William Bateman, perhaps you remember him?
I would have been just a lad. What were you here for?
That's what I intend to find out. What do you make of this stone?
Don't look like out to me.
Are you familiar with any local folklore?
Oh, aye. The old cobbler used to tell me some right stories. Swore he sold a pair of boots to a goblin when he were a young man.
A goblin, you say? I take it this cobbler was a regular at the Plough and Furrow?
Never drank a day in his life. Sober as a judge. Have you been to the Devil's Toe?
Yes, I'm familiar with the cairn.
Some say they've seen the goblin's daughter there, playing her fiddle.
She looks pretty normal.
How peculiar. I met a girl near there earlier. She gave me this broken fiddle bow.
Ha! Well, you've experienced the local folklore firsthand then, lass.
Do you know any other stories about this goblin?
I don't have the time to be standing here gossiping about old wives' tales.
Apologies. I'm having some trouble extricating a knife from a table in the plough and furrow. Might I borrow a pair of pliers?
A knife, you say? I can get that out for you.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Crozier.
That'll be $10.
Think nothing of it. Wait here. That were a struggle. Here you are.
Thank you so much. Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
Never heard of it. What is it?
Never mind. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Mr. Crozier's new pride and joy, it would seem.
So I've got a knife, but I need to get the horse to trust me before I can go cutting hair off. Maybe I can get some food, like an apple or something.
Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
I've still not been able to gain permission to excavate from Mr. Bryden.
Is that so? Perhaps you could show him something that might change his mind.
I've still not been able to gain permission.
Yes, perhaps you could...
What else can you tell me about this Saxnot?
Try not to worry yourself too much with these old stories. Leave those to the locals, Miss Bateman.
Have others spoken of goblins appearing in their dreams?
A dream is a dream, that is all. They merely make for good stories.
I know.
But to answer your question, no, not to my knowledge.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sure the locals have filled you in already, lass.
You cut quite the mysterious figure. Most had little to say.
It's true, I do tend to keep my head down. When one gets to my age, one grows very comfortable in one's home. I like the isolation of the moors. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Pardon?
I take it you don't get many visitors.
Oh no, nobody bothers me. That's the perk of living so far out, huh? Just me and me hens.
You do have some lovely chickens. I have cuddled them many times.
I used to come into Bewley more often, back before my health went to bugger, eh?
We don't know yet what the woman setting up shop is selling, because we tried to talk to her and she was just like, I'm still setting up. Come back later. Like, it looks like produce maybe, so I'm hoping. But then, even if she does have food, we don't actually have any money. We can buy stuff from the bar here, because the Stanley opened a tab for us.
What do you think of Bewley?
Whilst one could consider the villages to be rather unenlightened, this place has its charm. The markets in town today, you can see that folk want for nought here.
Is there anything else I should know about Hobbs Barrow, Mr. Shoulder?
No, lass. I'm certain we will know a lot more about it by this time tomorrow.
I hope so. What else can you tell me about the previous excavation?
I think I covered it earlier, Miss Bateman. As you yourself said, it were a time of superstitious hysteria.
What was it like, living in that period of hysteria?
I kept to myself. It didn't really affect me. My hens stayed healthy and their eggs kept me well fed. If one can keep a level head in such situations, one can get by.
Indeed. Is there anything else I should be aware of before my own excavation? No other ghouls I should be worried about?
You know the answer to that. The corruption in that soil were all in the minds of men.
I'm leaning towards a supernatural explanation here.
What do you make of Lord Panswick?
His lordship is an important man in Bewley, as I'm sure you have gathered. His family has commanded much respect here for many generations.
Do you respect him as a leader?
I do. He wants the best for the village.
Is he that guy over there?
Without his influence, the railway line would have never come through here.
Does he want more visitors?
Aye, I believe so. He has great ambitions for Bewley and wants to share them with the world.
What do you make of Mildred Walker?
Who?
I believe she's also known as Mother Mildred.
Oh, we used to get about when we were children. Our paths have not crossed in a long while.
What do you think of Charles Bryden?
He is a decent man. It must have been hard for him after that terrible business with his brother.
Without a doubt. I must say I had assumed you had at least spoken to him about my visit.
Sorry, lass. I had no intention of giving you the runaround. Again, I can only apologize.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the nature of your ongoing illness?
It's a little personal.
Oh, just the ravages of age. Getting off this bench will be a small battle in itself. Something you won't need to worry about for many a year, Miss Bateman.
We get lamp oil through trading, so maybe we can trade something for an apple. That's true.
Growing old is a blessing and a curse. And what of your recent fever?
An ordeal it were. So much tossing and turning. But I'm right as rain now, especially after a mug of ale. Don't worry about me.
What are Lord Panswick's plans for Bewley?
He's rebuilding an old chapel on his estate. He seeks to bring God back to these lands.
But what of St. Edmunds? I think Father Roach might argue God has never left.
Indeed.
Yeah, which god?
Let's leave such arguments to them, shall we?
Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. We will speak more later.
You found old Leonard, I see.
Yes, finally. I've had some rather unbelievable news, Stanley.
Oh?
Cut to after the conversation's over.
Remarkable.
Quite the coincidence, is it not?
Remarkable. Just remarkable.
Do you recall my father from back then?
I'm afraid not. Those were my droving days, you see. I didn't spend much time in Bewley.
Droving.
But an interesting turn of events nonetheless.
What do you know of Mother Mildred?
I'll tell you what I know about Mother Mildred. She
boy.
wants locking up.
You don't believe in witchcraft, do you?
How so?
She owes me
Oh.
a small fortune on her tab from years ago.
Yeah, about that. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay my tab.
Do remind her next time you see her, won't you?
I'd rather not get involved, if you don't mind.
Be careful who you trust, Miss Bateman.
Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
No, I can't say it does.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
Does the phrase Capucin Corps mean anything to you? Oh, never mind. Is this not the guy we saw? Okay, I thought he was the painting guy.
He appears to be lost in deep thought. Hello there.
Yes?
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Ted? Ted Cross?
Pleased to meet you.
Likewise.
Are you a local, Mr. Cross?
Oh no. I'm just passing through. I'm a musician. Just myself, me guitar and me horse.
Are you a travelling musician?
Aye. I've been playing a new song tonight. I've just finished the lyrics.
What's it about?
You'll have to come listen.
Is that your horse stationed in the alley?
Aye. Thistlecrack is her name.
That's an unusual name for a horse.
Aye. It were what she were called when I bought her. Glutton would be a better name. She likes her treats.
What's her favorite?
But it feels wrong to change it.
What do you make of Bewley?
Can't say that I know much about this place. I don't usually travel this far south.
I see. Have you heard of a place called Hobbs Barrow?
Can't say I have, miss. What is it?
Never mind. Thank you for your time.
Make sure you watch my performance later, won't you?
Ooh, are you a musician?
I'll try.
You're a music. Did you say he was a musician? I might have missed it. Yeah, okay, yeah, guitar, thank you. I'm like... start to get... Like, I got a second wind earlier, and now I'm getting sleepy again. Well, we did finish out the conversations at the bar.
I don't need to use the filthy lavatories.
Thomasina's got a bladder of steel. Let me just check here. Nothing new? Well, looks the same.
I've stored my case in there. A box within a box.
Oh, you just resurrected. No, I'm really exhausted from today. It's been a long day during a time of day that I'm usually asleep. So, I'm tempted to go outside to see if things changed, but maybe I should just call it here before I, like, pass out on streams and be embarrassing. Should have gone to make your dinner instead of joining us. Oh well. It might be for the best. Let's see, what do I save it as? I'll save it as, yeah, I was thinking maybe need, I don't know how long I could call it, need treat for horse. Yeah. That'll get us started next time. Alright. Sorry to call out early today, but I don't know how entertaining I can be for much longer. Plus, I'm starting to, like, have a hard time following the conversations. And I'm out of tea. That's just... Can't do this without tea. Well, thank you for joining me. I am really enjoying the game. I can't wait to see the rest of it, but I'd like to be more conscious for it. This time of year is always pretty exhausting. A lot of work to do for the holidays. Let's see who's on. And again, I haven't gotten a chance to look through my... I haven't picked a new retro game yet for Sunday. I have to look through my library to kind of pick what I want to do next. It's been busy. Like, I keep feeling like there was something I had planned, but I can't place it. Can't put my finger on it. Ooh. Excellent. I know who to raid. It's just muted. Yeah, okay. So I'll post on Twitter once I've picked the game for Sunday. This Friday we'll continue Final Fantasy II. We're kind of in endgame for the main story. We're at I think there's like 2 dungeons left essentially, and that's it. So depending how it goes, we might even finish main storyline this week. After that, the game's not quite over. There's a post-game extra section on the Soul of Rebirth. I don't know how long that's going to be, but probably more than one stream anyway. And yeah, so that's plan for the week. A little vague. I know I haven't picked a Sunday game yet. Where is it? Okay. Too many windows. Where is the window where I can raid? Okay. So I'm going to be raiding Italian Gamer Joe. He's an adventure game streamer. Especially, he streams a lot of the Nancy Drew series. Tonight he is playing Hook Champ, which is it's a little different from his usual fare, but yeah, he's a cool guy. Very welcoming, chill audience. Anyway, check him out if you've got the time. Maybe give him a follow. You won't regret it. Let's see, where's raid and all right. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of the week, and hope I see you all around. Take care, everyone. Bye.